Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I see a few of you joining. Welcome to Mari Clark Creations here on YouTube and Facebook. So excited to be here today with you to celebrate one day early, International Scrapbooking Day. So really fun. It's a fun weekend every year. There's always lots of inspiration. There's tons of sales. I've just been seeing tons of different businesses, stores, online stores, and so on sharing their bargains for the weekend, for International Scrapbooking Day, or for Mother's Day. And so, yeah, it's just really fun. And I'm excited to be here today. I wanted to hop on and share a little bit of inspiration for you for some scrapbooking. I have some really fun techniques for you, and I hope you enjoy. So whether you're live or you're on replay, welcome. If this is your first time here, I'm so happy to have you. If you are, you're returning and you've been here before, welcome back. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, I'd love to have you as a new subscriber. So hit that subscription button and hit that bell that will notify you of each time I go live here on YouTube. So I am going to switch you over right away to my desk view. Hi, Belinda, and hi, Leslie. Hi, Lynn, and everybody else that's watching here on YouTube and Facebook. And please make sure that you drop a comment in and let me know where you're watching from. I see Lynn's in Ottawa. And if you have any questions during the live stream at all, I will be keeping an eye on the comments and I will be answering your questions as we go along. So let's get right to it. I've got some really fun things for you today, and I want to get going. And hi, Claire. This is Claire's first time seeing me live. I don't go live that often. I'm hoping to do it more as I get more comfortable with it and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's fun. I do enjoy it. So, okay, I'm going to switch you over to my desk and you can see what I have going on here. So, oh, Belinda's in the UK. That's fun. I wonder what time it is. I bet it's in the evening sometime in the UK. And Leslie is in Orlando. Hi, Julie. Nice to see you. So on my desk, friends, I have, first of all, my surface I'm working on is a silicone craft mat. And I do have, underneath my craft mat, I do have my glass mat. And I just find that what I really love about working on my silicone mat when I'm going to be scrapbooking and whatnot, first of all, this is a non-reflective surface. And it's also really, really great for working on mixed media as well. And I don't have to do too much work to clean this off. It's actually even a little bit easier to clean than my glass mat. Hi, Kelly. And Claire says it's 5 p.m. in the UK, and Claire is in the UK as well. So super exciting. And Jocelyn is just popping in after work, and she's in the UK as well. So that's very fun. Okay, so what I have on my desk here is a piece of Vicki Boutin Foundations paper. It's one of my favorite papers to work on when I'm doing mixed media. And I really love it for scrapbooking pages, for scrapbooking backgrounds, but I also use it for making cards and really anytime when I'm going to be doing some mixed media on my project, especially when there's going to be some wet mediums. So what you can see here is some really cool texture. And because we're live today, I'm going to do a little bit of a demo to show you how I achieved the background that I already have pre-made. There's not a lot of time to let things dry and that kind of thing. So it's kind of like a cooking show in the sense that you have to kind of, pardon me, make things ahead of time and kind of prepare so that you can allow things to dry ahead. So what I have here is some texture paste. This is Distress texture paste. This is opaque and it is matte. And I love this product because it allows me to layer lots of things on top. So I actually put that texture paste through a stencil just with a regular spatula. And this is the stencil that I used. It's actually from All in Create. It's stencil number 71 called Steam Cogs. And in the description box, I did link up to a bunch of different stencils that will work and give you the same type of impression. I couldn't find this exact one, but if you do have a stockist near you, or you have a stockist for All in Create that you shop, You could definitely probably find this stencil. However, like I said, I did link up in the description box below to some other reasonable facsimiles. There's some Tim Holtz stencils that are really similar to this, and so on. And I see Joe is joining. Hi, Mari. I'm in Australia. Oh, and it's 1:30 a.m. there. So yeah, definitely that's getting late, Joe. And Jocelyn is saying, yes, that is very early or late, depending on how you look at it. Exactly. Okay, so this is nice and dry. And what I did with my textured surface on my scrapbooking layout is I used some infusions, and I also used some Lindy's Stamp Gang Magicals. So what I wanted to show you here today is what I did with my infusions and my magicals to create my background. So I'm going to start off with the infusions. I'm not using all of these colors. I'm actually using the Royal Blood color from this swatch. Beautiful, beautiful color. I don't know if you've ever used infusions before, but they're so fun. And I'm also going to be using Emerald Isle, which is this one here, and a little bit of Slate Blue as well for the infusions. So what I do to start off, now there's a couple ways to do this. You could put the infusions down first, or you can put your water down first. It doesn't really matter. What I like to do with my infusions, you could actually poke a little hole in the top and sprinkle it out that way. Another thing that you can do with them is you can just tap a little bit into the lid, and that way you can really control how much of the infusions you're getting onto your surface. And these things are so highly pigmented that honestly, you don't need very much. So I'm just taking my distress sprayer here, and I've just added a little bit of water. And now I'm just going to take the infusions and add them onto the paper where that water is. And you can see an instant reaction there, and just the beautiful colors that come out of that in those infusions. And I don't know if you can really see that, how well you can see that, but it is just a beautiful burst of color. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my brush just to move that around a little bit. And now I can just take and tap more in if I want and get more color. And I'm just going to let it do what it wants. I'm just going to let it kind of mix and the colors come out. And there you can just see the blues and the greens. And now I'm not going to do anything further. I'm just going to let that go ahead and dry. And I really hope you can see the colors that I'm getting there. They're so pretty and so stunning. I really love them so much. Now, what you can do is you can take a baby wipe and you can soak up some of the water. And what that will allow you to do is to create some dark and light areas. So if you want to create a little bit more depth and interest, you can pick up with a baby wipe some of the pigment and just create lighter and darker areas. So that is how the infusions work. They are amazing. I love them so much. And there's a ton of colors too. I don't actually have that many. This is all that I have. I have 7 of the infusions. So I'm just kind of starting to collect them, and they are really just so amazing. I'm going to use a little bit of the Royal Blood here as well. It's just a really beautiful blue color, like a royal blue. But it's just so interesting what happens when you add them into the water, and it's just really fun to watch what kind of a reaction you get and what they do. And it's quite often a little bit of a surprise. And that's one of the things that I love about using the infusions and the magicals from Lindy's. You can let these little bumps, you can let those little bumps be bumps. You don't have to dilute them. They can just be there, and that actually adds a little bit of extra texture. But you can see how they really have a real steampunk kind of look to them. And if I were to add more in there, we would get more blue. And I'm just going to tap a little bit more in there and let that do its magic. So really, really fun. I love them so much. Now, the other product that I used is Lindy's Magicals, and this collection is called Industrial Chic. It's one of my favorite collections from the Magicals sets. There's so many to choose from. There's so many different colors and color families, but I love them all. They're all so pretty. And you can get flat magicals, or you can get magicals that have a little bit of shimmer in them. The ones that I'm going to show you here today are shimmery. So again, I'm going to add a little bit of water here. You can see that I already have a little bit. Some of the other magicals have landed there, or not magicals, but infusions have landed there, and that's fine. What I'm going to do with these, I'm going to take this little pot and dip my wet brush in, and I'm going to just drop the pigment in that way. And you can just see how lovely that color is going to look. It is so pretty. And this one is called Rusty Lantern Lime. And it's just so pretty. It's a really, really beautiful green color. I'm going to add a little bit of water over here. And this time I'm going to put a little bit of Time Travel Teal in there. You can see the water is running from that green. I'm just going to pick that up a little bit. And maybe I'll go over here into this area. And I'm just going to grab a little bit of this color. And you can just see the gorgeous teal. And this one actually has a little bit of gold in it as well, which is also just really, really pretty. So I love that so much. These are also really, really nice with a gel press. So if you have a gel plate, these are really fun to use on a gel plate as well. So yeah, there's so many different ways to use them and different techniques that you can create. So that's those two colors from the Industrial Chic. This one is called Steampunk Sepia, and we'll just go down here with it. I'm just cleaning my brush in between the different colors. My brush is super stained from just different things I've done with it, but I'm going to drop a little bit of that sepia color in down here, and you can just see how fun that is. It's kind of that steampunk look for sure. I love that so much. And I'll just hold these up a little bit more to the camera so that you can see how gorgeous those are. And you can just see how they are running in to the lines of the stencil. So it brings out the definition of that texture paste that I've stenciled onto my cardstock here. This one is called Shabby Turbine Teal. And yes, we are going to get to some scrapbooking, I promise. I just wanted to show you how I created my background before I get to it, because otherwise you won't really understand, maybe if you haven't done this before, how I achieved the look that I have on my background. So this is really pretty too. It complements the green and the Time Travel Teal so nicely, and it all just works together beautifully. There is another color in the set. It's called Steel Shimmer. I did not use that one on my project, but it is also really pretty. But look how gorgeous that is. Just so much fun. And there's just so many ways that you can create with these powders. I just really love them so much. So now I'm just going to do a little 10-second tidy here, because I don't want any infusions or magicals on my mat here when I get my layout on here. So, and I'm going to set this this little sample over to the side. And now I can bring the actual scrapbooking layout into frame here and show you what that looks like once the background is all dry and ready to go. So this is what my background looks like. I think it's really interesting. I think it's super fun. And I also added another stencil in, and that is the Stamperia Alchemy Texture Stencil. I have linked this up in the description box below so that if you want to find this one, you can. But I really love this. I think it's just a really cool script. And I love the size of the stencil too. It gives you lots of options. I also love, this is kind of a small thing, but if you, I'm sure you can appreciate it because of organizing your space, but I love that there's a hook at the top, and I do have a hook on a slat wall in my space where I just go ahead and hook that onto the little organizer. So that's super handy. So I've got a little bit of the text. So you can see the text here. You can see the text here and here. And then I have the gears in this area, down here as well. So I tried to kind of put the different textures in sort of like different areas, but I also really wanted to leave some white space on my project as well. So you can see that it is a little bit, my paper is a little bit warped, but I'm not worried about that because when I put it into my page protector in my scrapbook, it's going to flatten out. Not only that, but if I was worried about that, what you can also do is take some double-sided tape, like I have some Sukwang tape here. What you can do is you can put the double-sided tape, or if you have an ATG gun or a tape runner that's really strong adhesive, you can put strips of that on the back of your paper, and then you can adhere this to another piece of white, or you could size this down a little bit and you could add a frame or a mat of another color cardstock. So this one here is Basil Blue Calypso. It's a beautiful cardstock, and you can just see how pretty that would be as a frame on the layout. I'm just going to flip my mat back for a second here so that you can see it on white, so it shows up a little bit more. But look at how lovely that is. It's just a really, really nice way to add that little bit of extra detail. So you could size this down. I'd probably size it down to 11 inches by 11 inches and then adhere this onto the paper, and it would also stabilize and flatten your paper out as well. So if that's a concern for you, there's a couple of tips so that you can think about how you might like to flatten out your page if you are concerned about the warping. So what we're going to do is we are going to be using the 49 and Market Spectrum Sherbet collection. I haven't gotten all of the bits of the collection that I want yet. The store where I shop at, which is the Paper and Ink Boutique in Calgary, hasn't gotten their shipment in yet. So I'm just kind of waiting. But I did get a few pieces at my local scrapbooking store, which I was really, really grateful for. So what I did get is some of the tidal wave. And this was really the inspiration for my color palette today. So I'm going to be scrapbooking some photos of my little grandson. And I really love this color palette for him. And it just is perfect with the tidal wave collection from the Spectrum Sherbet papers and all of the different bits from 49 and Market. So you can just see how gorgeous that matches up. And I just love it so much. So I was really excited about that. And I wanted to use that today for sure for my project. Now, before I add my photos and start adding my details onto this background, I want to do a little bit of adding some rub-ons. So are you guys like me? Do you love the 49 and Market rub-ons? I'm obsessed with them. I think they are so much fun, and I just think they're brilliant. So this is some of the rub-ons from the Spectrum Sherbet collection. And what I'm going to do is I am going to trim out some little bits from one of these sheets or more than one of these sheets and add them onto my background for a little bit of extra detail. So I love all of these little text bits. Aren't they so cool? I just think they're genius. And I don't know who at 49 and Market came up with the idea of the rub-ons, but they've been around for a little while now. And every time I see them, I buy them because they are perfect for all kinds of different things. Card making, they can help you create a really quick card. And there's so many different ways to use the rub-ons. I think they're just a really great product to have in your stash. So what you do is you separate the backing paper from the actual rub-on. You just want to make sure that you don't let this touch anything before you're ready to use it. But I just thought there would be a perfect little spot over here on the side for this little bit of detail. So you just set that down. Hopefully you guys can see. Leslie's saying she just got Vicky's Spectrum Sherbet kit. That is awesome. I should have bought one of those kits too. In retrospect, I didn't do it, but I do know that my little store in Calgary is getting it too. So yes, I love rub-ons too, Lynn. They're so good. They're so fun and they're so easy to work with. Now, one thing I forgot to tell you, I did add some gesso to this paper. So to the foundations paper, before I stenciled and before I added my powders, I used some gesso to treat the paper, and I used Vicky's gesso. I really love it. It's a great product. And so I used that on my background and I let it dry. So I did this all yesterday. I did that prep. And it's just, you know what, Vicky's paper is amazing. And oftentimes you don't even need gesso, but I knew that I was probably going to put quite a bit of water on here. And so I did prime the paper with that gesso for that reason. And one of the cool things is that the rub-ons will actually stick. So I'm going to just show you here. I'm going to do a little test. I'm going to lift it and make sure. So some of it didn't stick. So I'm just going to go over that again. And you can just easily do that. And it's nice that the little tool that they provide you with. So this little tool comes in the rub-on pack, and you can just go ahead and use the tip of it to get any little fine detail areas. So there's another little spot that needs a little more rubbing. But this is just a really little bit of subtle detail over to the side. And I love that. Look how fun that is. So super easy to do. I think has a really huge impact. I love that. It doesn't totally cover my white space, but it just adds that little wee bit more of detail in that area. So these are the ones from the Spectrum Sherbet. But I also have some other ones that I pulled. I've got this set here, which is an older set. This one is Vintage Artistry Wedgwood. I don't think you can get this anymore. When these were starting to disappear, this particular set, I bought a whole bunch of them. I think I probably got like 7 packs or something like that because they're so beautiful. I just love them so much. And I love these little quotes. And so I thought that might be fun for our project today, maybe up at the top there. So I'm going to just trim out a little bit of this one and add that up to the top in this area here. And these ones are kind of like, they almost look a little bit like gold, which I thought was really nice. And that time travel teal does have gold in it. I don't know if you can see it, but there is sort of like a little spot there in that section on this cog that is really shiny gold. So I really love that. So I'm going to just put this up at the top. And again, I'll just rub it on. And so you could achieve the same look, obviously, with a stamp. You don't need rub-ons, but I just wanted to, since we're using 49 in Market here today, I just wanted to share some of the product that they do have in their collections and in their product line. So love it so much. I love 49 in Market. I think their products are just so fun. So there you can see that little bit of text at the top and how that just adds just a really nice little bit of extra touch. So we've got a little bit there and we've got a little bit there. I'd like to add another little bit at the bottom to create a little bit of a visual triangle. I could go over here to the edge, but I think I might go down here at the bottom instead. And I don't think I want to go directly down from that one. I think I'd like to go kind of over in this area here. And for that one, let's see what else we have that we can pick from here for these rub-ons. We also have, these ones are from Avesta. And what I really like about these, I think I do want another little bit of text, but I'm going to use a little bit of that Avesta one as well. But before I do that, I'm going to add just a tiny little bit more of text. And I'm just going to grab a little bit from the top of this one. These florals are so stunning. Can't wait to use them. I'm so pumped to get the rest of this collection. Okay, sounds great. Sounds great, Jocelyn. No worries. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks so much, Lynn. I appreciate it. I do really love the colors too. But I really enjoy blue and green together. I think it's a great combo anytime, whatever type of project you're working on. I'm a blue and green fan for sure. Blue is definitely my favorite color, especially like an aqua. And I love the also this brown that's that, kind of like that steampunky tone that's in there as well. I think that's super fun. So yeah, I'm just starting my infusions collection. I just have a few so far, but I'm super impressed with them. I think that they're just really neat, and I think that they complement the Lindy's really nicely as well. So there we've got that little bit of text at the bottom. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to set these aside. And I'm going to just take this. I really just love these little kind of dots. I think that they're so cool. These little bits. And I'm going to add some of that down at the bottom as well, just for a little something different. I love in the Avesta collection, these beautiful butterflies. I think are so pretty too. They're gorgeous. So much fun. So this one I'm going to take and add down here at the bottom. And at this point, I honestly don't really have a ton of a plan for the layout, the design of the layout, other than I know where I'm going to put my photos. So that's really the only forethought that I've had about the rest of the design of the project. I know that I have 3 photos and I want them to go kind of in this area here, but the rest of it's just going to kind of evolve as we go through. So I love that. That is super cool. Look how fun that is. And we can go in and add, more of the rub-ons as we go along in the process. But for right now, I'm going to just add that many. Okay, yeah. So Kelly really loves these colors as well. Super fun. Love it. Hi, Tiffany. Thanks so much for joining. Yeah, and definitely I'll be leaving this up for the replay. So if you missed part of it already, no worries at all. It'll be here for you to rewatch. Okay, so this gorgeous paper then from that tidal wave, look at that back, it's so gorgeous. You could literally just score this like that and have a little mini slimline card base. These papers are just gold. They're so good. So, but I really wanted to use this paper for my photo mat. So I am scrapbooking 3 photos, which are just amazing. I love them. So that's my daughter with her new little son. So he's now just over 2 months old and just the best. And this is the 2 of them, she and her husband with little guy. And then here he is here. Look at that. Like I can't even with the cuteness factor there. So I am going to mat these 3 photos on this paper. So to create my 3 photo mats, I'm not going to do anything too fancy. I'm just going to cut the paper. And I do want these to kind of have a bit of a distressed look. So I am going to be using my distressing tool with them. And, as I do, and if you've watched me before, you know that I do like to create a real distressed look with my projects. I'm not afraid to do that. I think it looks cool. And if you are a really clean scrapper, you can probably find a way to make this look less grungy or less distressed looking. But I really love that look. So that's what I'm going to go for here with my different little elements that I'm adding. Not sure if I have to trim this down a whole bunch. I'll take a little bit off. By the way, these are the Heidi Swap scissors. I love them. They're super sharp. They're such good scissors. Huge fan of those. Okay, so I've got a little bit of scrap. I know I can use that at some other point along the way. So now what I want to do is just take my paper distressing tool and I'll just distress the edges. This paper is so heavy too. It's just amazing. I love it. And I'm going to kind of fold the corners a little bit. I'll even get my finger going here, and I'm okay totally with if it tears a little bit, that's perfect. And so there's one mat. That's great. This one, a little bit of the color showing on the edge. And this one's really pretty blue color. Matches so perfectly with the colors that I have on my background, which is great. So I'm just gonna, again, just dress this really well. What's everybody doing for Mother's Day this weekend? Do you have plans? Or are you just having a quiet weekend? I think we are getting together. I'm getting together with, well, my husband and I are getting together with our kids on Sunday. So that'll be nice. That is Mother's Day. And it's also my mother-in-law's birthday. So we're going to have a little barbecue. I think that will be nice. Our weather has finally smartened up here. I hope I'm not getting a weird glare. I see a few little dots there. I did open my blinds because it was raining before I started. And now the sun has come out. So I'm getting kind of some weird lights coming in. I might have to shut my blinds here in a bit, but I think it's okay for now. What I want to do to create a little bit of dimension between these layers is I'm just going to add some foam dots so that I can, if I want, add any little bits and pieces between the layers, and that'll just help create more texture and dimension on the project as well. So I like to bump up my photo a little bit from that first layer, and then in that way I can just keep adding kind of in behind there if I choose to. And I didn't leave a matte, a white border on these photos. I took them right down to the photo, but you could definitely add a white mat on there as well if you, or not a white mat, but leave a white border, or you could also add a white mat if you wanted, whatever you like the looks of. And I just took the white off just for something different. Love these foam dots with the little tabs. They're so great. Okay, so just the same thing here. I just want to add this onto my white paper and just leave a little bit of a gap. And then lastly here, this one, doing the same thing. And get that backer off of there. No worries, Nancy. Thanks so much for joining. Hi. So nice to see you from London, Ontario. That's awesome. And just going to add this on. And there we have our 3 photos all matted. So I was thinking I would put him in the center and then the 2 of them over to the side, kind of like this, kind of an arrangement for my photos. I really like that. I think that looks nice and pretty cohesive all together. Now, the question that I had for myself was, do I also want to add a strip of pattern paper that's cohesive, that goes behind all of the papers or all of the photos? Unfortunately, I don't have 12 by 12 papers yet to cut down. So I just have this size. I'm just going to grab my trimmer. I'm just wondering if that will fit into this trimmer. I think it will, but I'm thinking I would like to add, I'm going to cut this into a strip. Let's try 3.5 inches. And what I was thinking I would do is just kind of add this in behind as kind of like a base, a way to sort of make the photos all kind of like seem like one unit in that way. And then I think that I can overlap them as well. I think that might look interesting also. So what do you think of that arrangement? I think that's pretty good. I don't mind it. Might fuss with the placement of them slightly, but I don't dislike that. I think that looks pretty good. Pardon me. So yeah, I think I like that. Now I do have these little bits too. These are the book plates from, and I don't even know what collection they're from. They're from the same release as the Avesta release. So I think these came out in January or February or something. But these book plates are so cool. I love them. And they're just a really great layering pieces. So I was thinking I would add these in somehow in behind in some way. So that's definitely a thought. Before I do that though, I think I am going to go ahead and commit and stick these photos down. And the only thing when you layer your photos so that they're kind of overlapping is you never want to cover anything up that's kind of like crucial to understanding what's happening in the photo, or whatever impression it is that you want to give for your project. So yeah, I want to be mindful of that as I'm adding the photos on. So I've got this little guy in the center here. I'm going to pop that up just a little bit. And I am definitely going to add more layers to this as I go along. But what I want to do is I want to add some strong adhesive behind there. And I also want to make sure I have it on there straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my liquid adhesive. I'm going to use my art glitter adhesive here because it is archival. And having said that, that's kind of silly because like literally I have no idea if the Infusions or the Lindy's is archival. Do you guys know that? I'm not sure. Thanks, Nancy. I'm not sure if the Lindy's would be archival. I really don't know. Or the Infusions. I'm not sure. Okay, so that is it'll struggle to stick, but I'm gonna really push on it. The fact that I'm using liquid adhesive will really help, but you really want to make sure that anything that you're adding onto this much mixed media, that you add it with a good strong liquid adhesive. And it doesn't have to have a ton of liquid adhesive, just a little bit. I'm going to get my pin back in my glue before I lose it. But yeah, you just need to add just enough so that it will adhere. And I would say just really burnish and hold it so that it can grab. And what I also want to do is just take and add a little bit of foam adhesive and just kind of stick it in behind there as well so that the edges aren't flat to my layout. I like it to be, I don't really like that look where it looks super flat. And I think that this is pretty straight, but what I can do is grab my T-square ruler and just make sure. My most important thing is that I want to make sure that I have the photo on there straight, but I would also like to have that. Yep, that's pretty straight. Wow, that's amazing because I'm notorious for getting stuff on layouts crooked. Okay, so here, I'm thinking I want that one in behind just slightly. And so now I'm just going to make sure I have my photo placement on here the way that I want it. I think this one maybe just a little bit higher, this one a little bit lower, just to make it look a little bit more interesting, get a little bit more movement going on with the layout. Yeah, I don't mind that. Maybe a little bit higher. But yeah, I kind of like that. I think that looks cool. So question, what company makes the foam dots with the tabs? Okay, so I actually have a brand new one here. I buy these from the Paper and Ink Boutique, which is linked in the description box. It's at the very bottom of the supply list. And you can go to the shop, and Julia she ships Canada, US, international. So if you really love these, this roll, which it's got 500 dots on it, is $20 Canadian. So these are really great. Yeah, awesome. So love them. They work really super well. They're good and sticky. The tabs come off super easily. They're just a really great adhesive. I use them a ton. I've also received them from Honeybee Stamps before. Honeybee Stamps has them in their shop as well. And yeah, I love them. They're fantastic. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of foam adhesive behind there as well So all of my photos now are stuck down. I love that movement across through there. And now if I want to add these little pieces in behind, what I can do is just tear, and I can pop this in behind. If I want it to be smaller, I can make it smaller. I can cut, however much off of it that I want. I also like the idea of distressing the edge of this as well, but I just like that look. I think this is really fun. Kind of has a vintage look, and I think it would be really cool just kind of popped in behind there. So that's fun. And then what I can do with the bottom, if I want the bottom sticking out on the bottom edge kind of to line up with that, is I can just stick that torn piece from the bottom just down there, and it looks like it's one cohesive piece. And there we have just a really nice bit behind there. You're welcome, Leanne. No worries. Make sure you guys ask me any questions as I'm going through. I'm happy to help you guys out. I know we have to help each other to find good stuff, right? So yeah, I just love that. I think that's really cool. And now what we can start to do is add some other embellishments. Now what I did was I did pull some embellishments from, I have some from Avesta, but I also have some from Spectrum Sherbet, like this leaf, which I think is really pretty. I think that's so beautiful. So I pulled some of those, and I also last night took some of my Mintage chippies. So these are also linked down below, and they're so fun when you have a project where you want to create some really fun texture. And I did gesso these because I wasn't sure if I was going to get some product on them or not, like if I was going to get color on them or what was going to happen. But they are ready to take any sort of medium if I did add a medium here as well over top. So I also have this sweet little butterfly, which I thought was super cute, and that would look really great on the project. So I've got some really fun dimensional pieces that I can add in here as well. So I have all of those different products over here in a little tray. This is actually a little tray that I bought in 2016 in Paris when my son and I went on a little trip, and I love using it for housing my embellishments when I'm working on a project. But I also really love these little tickets too. So these are going to be really fun for example, sticking into an area like that. So I've got some of those, and I like to distress them a little bit as well and just kind of make them a little bit more dimensional. So I've got one over here. Go even move that up a little bit and just kind of put it over to the side. I've got another one that I can add if I choose. I've got another larger one. And so in the 49 and Market embellishment packs, so in their die cut packs, they have bits like this that I think are so fun, and they're just perfect for tucking, So I'm going to tear that one in half. And again, I've got that little bit of space there in between the photo and the mat, and I'm going to slide that down just a little bit. This one's up high. I'm going to put this one a little bit lower, and I'm actually going to trim it off just a little bit more. It's still just a little bit too long. And then those extra pieces I'm trimming off, those will just go right back into my embellishments, and I will use those on other projects. So far I'm really liking the looks of this. I have to make some decisions about what I'm going to do with these chippy pieces, if I want to use those or not. Before I go any further, I do really like this book plate piece or whatever it's called. I'm going to go ahead and stick that down, and I'm just putting a little bit of foam adhesive in behind it, and that's just the most simple way to adhere that on to my project. And I can go back after and I can add, liquid adhesive wherever I feel like I need it. But I'm trying to decide, what do you guys think? Do I want chippies? Do I want more of these laser cut pieces? What do you think you like? What do you think looks the best? What are you loving on here? I don't know if I'm loving the butterfly for sure. I don't know yet. I'm not sure. I don't mind this piece though. I think it's quite interesting, and I think that it adds some good interest value. I'm wondering about a smaller piece. I think I have a smaller one of those. Yeah, I do. This little guy, like something like this tucked in there, like that. And I just love the texture that it provides. I think it's really cool. And even if we layered this chippy over top of a leaf like that, that looks really nice. What do you guys think? I think that's super pretty. Yeah. Yes, Pam, this is my little grandson. Isn't he just the best? Look at him. And when he was born, I went to the hospital the day that he was born. And the first thing I noticed, I said to my daughter, does he have dimples? And he does. He literally has the biggest dimples in his cheeks when he smiles. And like none of us have, well, actually, I shouldn't say none of us have dimples. My sister has dimples and my mom had dimples. I think those are the only people in either side of the family that have them. So it's pretty fun that he has dimples. I think it's just a really cool little part of who he is. Now, this is the chipboard title that I'm going to use, and I'm probably going to put it in about that spot right there. It says Believe, and that is from this pack here from Spectrum Sherbet. Aren't these great? There's 55 die cut pieces in this chipboard pack, and look at all of the different words that you have to choose from there. So good. I know, Nancy, right? I just want to squeeze his cheeks every time I see him too. He's just the best. But I love this. I think this is just great. And I loved that they included the green and the teal in this pack as well. So this is really great. And these are chipboards, so they're just perfect for a title. So I'm thinking probably in that area right there. I really love it. So I am going to grab, I might have used up all of my, oh, no, there's some more. I can always rip off another strip anyways on that new roll. But I'm just going to pop these up or pop this up on a little bit of foam. And I might have to double that foam up. I probably will because just to be on the same level of dimension as everything else, I'm just going to add another little foam dot there also. Never afraid to add more foam adhesive to a project, that's for sure. And I'm just going to go ahead and add that on there. And the really nice thing about having that strip of paper in behind is it also just provides a nice little shelf or home for some of these other little bits that I've added in here as well. Now I'm thinking I probably want to add another little cluster to go diagonally from that one there. So what I want to do is go to the laser cut pieces. And these laser cut pieces are so good, right? So this is the Tidal Wave laser cut elements. This collection has so many pieces to it. It's just unreal. It is a great pack of words, Nancy. Totally agree. Totally agree. But these laser cut bits are just so good. Look at them, you guys. They're so detailed. I just love them so much. And so I'm going to grab another one of these teal leaves. So pretty. But I think I'm going to have to use one of these butterflies on here as well because, oh man, they're just beautiful. And I love how they package these so that they don't get damaged. They're just, you know, they're attached to these backers so that you can just pop them out of there. They're perforated and they come out so easily, and they're not, you know, they're not bent or they're not, you know, damaged in any way. So I really love that. And now what I can do is just take another little bit of, and the nice thing about these chippies is what you can do is you can just take your self-healing mat and you can take your blade and you can just cut off, you know, whatever you'd like. So I want just a small sprig of this. So I'm going to trim it and give it a little haircut. And I can totally use the piece that I'm trimming off. It'll just go back into my little tray there. And that's just a pen blade. Yeah, it's just a craft knife. And then, so this is going to just kind of imitate what I have up there in the other corner. So I've got the regular leaves and then I have the chippies there. And I just think that looks so pretty. So it's a pretty, you know, it's a pretty bold kind of looking project for sure. In that there's some really bright colors and there's a lot going on, but I feel like there's enough focus on my photos here in the center that I don't lose any of the attention on my photographs, which is the main part of what I'm doing here, right? And the other thing that I would say, I'm just going to tear this down a little bit, is that I'm going to do my journaling. I usually add my journaling off camera. I often don't share my journaling with social media. I often keep that to something that I'll add after, but definitely I will be adding some journaling strips down here. And what I do is I just type those on my typewriter, and that's super easy to do. So very easy and suits the purpose of the journaling that I'm going to want to add. I also pulled out this little die cut piece which says my heart, and I wasn't sure if that was going to fit this project as well. I might not use that, but that was just another thought that I had. Just looking to see what else I pulled to put on the layout. You know, you don't really need a whole lot more than what I already have on here. But I was thinking about adding one of these little butterflies, and definitely thinking about maybe a green one. How pretty is that, you guys? What do we think? Oh, that's a perfect spot right there, isn't it? I love that spot. Okay, let's go for it. I'm just looking at the size. I'm going to grab a smaller foam dot for that. And I like to have a variety of sizes of foam adhesive for some of those smaller areas. These still all need to be glued down, these corner areas, and I will do that, obviously. I love that. That is really pretty. I'm just trying to think. I feel like this needs something else. I don't know if I want another butterfly, but let's check. Let's just see. I could add a little floral there as well, just to do something a little bit different. Just looking to see if you guys have any ideas. Let me know if you have a suggestion. We'll try a couple things. Let's try, I think I want something blue up in that area, just as a contrast to the green butterfly. But what we could do is we could add a flower up in that area instead of another butterfly. What do you think? So there's a blue flower. Maybe we do need green up there. That kind of is blending in, isn't it? We'll try some different things and see if we can come up with something that we like. The other thing that I really love to do on a project like this is to add some splatters. You guys probably already guessed that. I could actually do both green and blue. That actually would look really pretty, wouldn't it? Both the green and the blue. What do you guys think? But I really love to add splatters, and I'm probably, who am I kidding? Probably, I'm definitely going to be adding some splatters. So we'll do that as well before I leave you today. But definitely going to put that little blue flower, and then we'll add this little green one as well to bring in that a little bit more of that bright green. I love the vibrant green. So pretty. It's just gorgeous, and it looks really complementary with the green of that the Lindy Stamp Gang green for sure. It sounded like I said gangrene. Lindy's Stamp Gang green, rusty lantern lime. Beautiful color of green. I love it so much. So I think to finish off, I am going to do some splattering. Hi. Hey, thanks so much. I love it. I love it, Mish. Is it Mish? Yes. I love the green and blue too, Leslie. I think it's gorgeous. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to add some splatter. I really love to add splatter in with Dina Wakley Gloss Spray. And I'm just going to cover up my project, my photos, with a little bit of scrap that I have. So I'm just going to shake this up and get it kind of, I don't know why that came apart. That's weird. So now I'm just going to dip my brush in, and I'm just going to splatter. And I just love the white splatter over everything. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you know that I love my white splatters. I'm a huge fan. I want some on the butterfly for sure. I want it on the leaves. I definitely want it. I want it on all of the areas where I've added the color. I want it on the flowers, up here in the corner. We can even go over our rub-ons for sure. And I could still add more rub-ons to this, definitely. I don't know that I will, but I could if I wanted to. And I really love to add a lot of the white splatter. I just think it really adds. It adds a lot of dimension to the project. It adds a lot of interest. And I will just make sure that my brush has some water in it, but I will take that and wash that properly in the sink after I'm done here. Sorry for my reach across there, but that is Dina Wakley Gloss Spray. It's an acrylic white spray, and it is fantastic for adding white splatter to any sort of a project, whether it's scrapbooking, card making, whatever. So this is, I think I'm done. I don't think I'm going to add anything else. I think it looks really pretty. And I love the title Believe for them. It was a lot to get this little guy into the world. They went through lots of struggles to have him, and he is a little rainbow baby, and we just love him so much. And yeah, I love this layout. So I'm really having a lot of fun scrapbooking my photos of him and doing the baby book. I don't know. I don't think I showed the boho baby book here. I showed it over on Patreon. If you're not a patron of my Patreon, I have linked up to that in the description box as well. I do post weekly on Patreon. I really love that community. It's so much fun. If it's something you're interested in, you can check it out. If you don't know what Patreon is, basically it's a website where people can support creators. So I offer free content here on YouTube all the time, and on Instagram. I have lots of inspiration there, but sometimes people want to support creators in a different way, and that's what Patreon offers. So it's just a site that you can, if you choose to, you can check that out and find more inspiration from me on that site. So thank you so much for joining me, guys. I'm actually going to just hold this up so you can see all of the beautiful details. I love the 49 and Market Spectrum Sherbet collection. I'm a huge fan of 49 and Market in general. I think it's just so much fun. There's so many beautiful aspects to their product, and I just am a huge fan. So I'm just going to check the comments and see if anyone has any questions that I might have missed. Thank you so much, Nancy. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Leslie. Thanks, Pam. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming by today. I'm really grateful that you stopped by, and I really hope that you got inspired, that you gained some inspiration, and definitely have fun on International Scrapbooking Day tomorrow. I will be around. I just wasn't really sure. If the weather's nice, I might be outside. We might be doing something. I wasn't 100% sure. So I wanted to pop on today and do this live with you. And then, of course, you can always watch the replay as well. So thank you so very much. Have an amazing day, and take care. Stay well. And I'll see you soon. Hopefully I can get back on here for another live really soon, friends. See you soon. Bye-bye.